Hello and welcome to this third installment to this GDSL tournament game match. Sorry. So we got Bulls Club versus last but not least. Still. All right. Let's look at the bans. It looks like top team had banned Dahaka again. They're going a very similar comp as they did before. I guess they replaced was it Phoenix with Kerrigan? And they just didn't want to deal with the Dahaka shenanigans versus the Nova Tychus. So we'll see how this pans out for them. Yeah. I guess they're also probably targeting one of these players. Probably Eskimo Joe, because I think he likes to go Dahaka. But yeah, and then the bottom team banned Phoenix. Makes no sense to me, because all their commanders do decently well against Phoenix, or if not, they counter them. I don't know. Maybe they're just targeting balls. They didn't want the Chad champion to shine. They didn't want him in all his glory. They probably thought like, oh, his Phoenix aggression was too much last game, so we're gonna ban it. All right. So let's get into the team comps. We got Kerrigan, Tychus Nova. It's still going on that that Tychus carry aspect as like a backup plan, but they're keeping up with the early game aggression as like their forward plan. So their forward plan is they want to basically just destroy this bunker as soon as possible and then not have to deal with their own wave. And you can kind of see that with these picks, because Kerrigan and Nova are just super good, super good early game, and they'll just like destroy that bunker real fast. I will say though that this team, yeah, the only backup plan is Nova Drone, so it could get rough for them at some point. But I mean, they got Kerrigan's son too, which is really good. What about this team? We got another Kerrigan, a Han Horner, and a Stukov. I guess they're using the Han Horner as like a air commander so that Kerrigan and Stukov can like get out their air units well, because usually they don't like air units when they're fighting. So we have Han and Horner that could just leak galleons and Vikings to clear let's say Tempest or whatever. So Stukov doesn't have to deal with Tempest, and his Alexander can survive. We'll see how that pans out. Kerrigan is here as an added bonus because he can jump backwards and help the Han Horner wave win a few of the early game waves, so that it's like a little bit of padding to make up for his lack of early game. And Stukov has infest structure, and the best wave to put that on is probably the Han Horner wave, maybe his own wave if he has tanks, because the stacking units on Han Horner are pretty insane. He can just infest structure, and then they're having to fight a bunch of broodlings while the SBCs like take pot shots at them, or assault galleons from like this range just shoot them down. So that's something we should look out for. because that could be a different, like it could be very annoying to deal with. Maybe they learned from last 2 games where it's like, oh, we noticed that these players are gonna pick only early game champions, or sorry, commanders. My bad, commanders. And so we're gonna make a commander that actually heals the bunker. Kerrigan jumping back to help the Tychus wave. And unfortunately for bottom team, they got a mirror, but also they got a really rough matchup. Like Hunhorner is very rough versus a Tychus who knows what he's doing. It takes a lot more effort from the Hunhorner player than it does from the Tychus player, oftentimes. But you can make the Tychus player do a lot more effort if you just put like chaff units like Reapers, and then you micro your jump packs or whatever, jetpacks, to try to eat the Sirius missiles. So now the Tychus player has to right click off the Sirius missiles and then right click back on the Sirius missiles because they're not in the F3 menu. So it gets really annoying for the Tychus player if you really want to do that as a Hunhorner player. And the reason why the chaff like eating missiles is good is because you can get strike fighters that just infiltrate the enemy's backline and just one shot the Tychus hero and stuff, and then you suddenly you're looking at a wave that you just won. But yeah, this is just gonna be a bully. Like he got Tychus and Kerrigan. The other Kerrigan didn't seem to jump back. Did he miss his? Yeah, he missed his hero spawn. Okay, because he gassed, that's why. So yeah, these Hellbats are toast. They might put a lot of damage on the bunker too. Also, timing the Tychus grenade is good, because if you get this plus 25 damage, you can like one-shot the Hellion backline. I think with Nakara burst, but also you can like one-shot the strike fighters if they're not fast enough. Chad Champion or Balls in all his glory, going the Nova Hero. He's looking to try to blink cheese one of the Kerrigan waves and just shotgun all the Hydras that come up. Kerrigan is finally going backwards. He probably wants to kill his hero. Cause that, yeah, cool. Yeah, this is good luck on Horner. Even with the allies' help, he could not overcome the matchup advantage. Also, the other Kerrigan hero was like severely damaged from Nova. Interesting build. He's going Goliath straight up. He's like, you know what? I think this guy's gonna go Banshees at some point. We're just not gonna deal with that. And even if he doesn't go Banshees, we're gonna have it preemptively for Alexander. Goliaths aren't the worst unit when it comes to fighting ground units either. Like they have pretty decent damage. They don't really care about armor, so And they have 450 HP. That's a lot of life. They cost less than a bunker, and they have more. They have more life than a bunker. But we will see. This is this should lose. I would be very surprised if it wins. Yeah, that's just. Trashka wants to commit to the going backwards strategy still, and just made a few hydras just to, maybe he can potentially grab mid, but he also thought his ally was gonna lose early game, so he just wanted to soften up the leaks. Stun grenade is just so good. I mean, he might have only done it on 3 units, but it's still so good. I mean, it's getting close. Like, the Tychus hero is almost dying. This is rough for the Stukov player. He has to deal with this wave on top of already being damaged. So at this point, we have to realize this railgun turret tanks a lot. Here, let's see what the vitality is for that. That's 400 life. That's the same amount as a bunker. And has a +1 base armor. That stuff takes a lot of damage. You definitely need anti-armor into that. But the problem is that if you get anti-armor, you get diamondbacks. The main problem is he gets like 2 hellbats, and good luck. Your diamondbacks don't deal spell damage. They used to deal spell damage before, where they would ignore armor. They don't deal it anymore. So, yeah. This is just it's a rough spot for Stukov. He really needs his allies to deal damage to the Hellbats in order to infiltrate that backline and kill everything. So he needs the Kerrigan to win his mirror, and slash, or he needs a Han Horner to win an already unfavored matchup. I mean, what he can do is he can put some civs and make the Goliaths and Hellbats that are coming just aggro onto the civs. Sometimes the civs will jump backwards behind the Hellbats and it'll turn the AoE cone around. It'll be all derpy and stuff. The best bet you have against the Hellbats armor and stuff is actually just the main attack from the bunkers. So if you can prevent the bunkers from getting like stunned, then you should be good. So if the civs are getting stunned instead, then you're good. Here's the civs that came out because he predicted these Hellbats. Yeah, see the bunkers start just whacking at the Hellbats, essentially. These are just a waste of minerals. Just get more bunkers. Realistically, at this point in the game, he should just stop whatever he's doing, go tier 3, and get Apox. Like, this is a tempo build. This is the tempo build for Stukov. It's not super effective, but it's good enough. Like, it'll take advantage of ally leaks. But if you wanted to go the actual, like, viable, like, I'm gonna win my matchup type of build, he's gonna have to lose a few early rounds and mass Apox, like rush Apoc and mass it, and then go Banshees behind those Apocs. And it looks like that's what the strategy he might be going. No, he's going to tier 2. Oh, he doesn't even have weapons upgrades. That's a mistake. Maybe he's like, oh, all my Marines are aggroing onto these like 6 bajillion armor Hellbats. There's no point in getting armor, or sorry, weapon upgrades. No, there still is a point. It's only 4 armor. You do 6 damage. So. Yeah, this is rough. He has to deal with these leaks and on top of his own wave. He's not necessarily playing wrong. He probably shouldn't have made those 4 Marines though, because they're just a waste of money. And in like a close knit, like, you know, tournament game like this, you can't be affording like a waste, like all this money being wasted. Especially when you're basically trying to penny pinch, right, in the early game, because you want to maximize your effectiveness in your early game. You don't want to like waste. You want to spend all your minerals, and you don't want to waste minerals, because these minerals matter more in the early game than they do in the late game. So by wasting these minerals already, it's gonna mess up your early game, which in fact does mess up your late game, because you'll have less minerals because you won't have mid as much. Got the race transition. That's a pretty solid move. Ooh, he didn't out blink the stun grenade, but it doesn't matter because they have infest structure, so it's literally just eating up all the damage, like I said before. So Kachar has to deal with all this now. Now he has to be under the back of his mind, like, how am I gonna counter infest structure but also kill this Han Horner wave if he goes air? And Chad Champion is building a versatile build that does well versus both Han Horner and Stukov. So that's a good part. Let's just look at the Kerrigan mirror real quick, because I feel like I neglected it a bit. Mutalisks are good, don't get me wrong, but that AoE shreds the mutas. Like, you'll have 20 health on each muta after you AoE. Like, it's crazy. Whereas the Hydras, you only deal like 10 damage to each. Ideally, you can jump forward your Kerrigan hero like maybe once or twice, probably just once, and then have queens back here, and then they'll heal up your Kerrigan hero, and your Kerrigan hero will just aggro on to all of the mutas, and all your units will like sit outside the bounce range and just peg the mutas. Especially you probably want more queens than this, to be honest, if you're gonna go with that strategy though. But he's probably afraid of hot and horn leaks because, yeah, infrastructure is the thing. And it's hard for Tychus to deal with that and infrastructure. Sirius is a good unit. Like, there's not much to say. He wasted too much money on this cannonball. Like, if he was gonna get a if he was gonna get a frontline unit, it would either be a naked cannonball with like maybe red line power cells, because it's only $25, or he would get a blaze with like the oil range, just so he can defend against the tier 1 units better. But yeah, this is kind of a waste of money. I know what he was probably going for. He was probably trying to snipe the bunker early, because he's trying to end the game as fast as possible. I think, what was it? Shashka? It's very late for Shashka at this time. So he was like really tired, so they were just trying to end the game as soon as possible. That's what their strategies were kind of revolving around. This is kind of miscommunication on their part. They're all three going air, so Sirius is just gonna do well versus all three of them. Goliaths are just gonna do okay versus all three. The only one that's not gonna do well versus is the Mutas. Hana Horner, you're kind of forced to go air. Stukov, you're forced to go air after your Apox, but he went air before his Apox, so this doesn't make any sense to me. And Kerrigan is definitely not forced to go air in the mirror. He can go Queen Hydra and do fine. Even I would say it's probably more optimal to go Queen Hydra in most cases. Yeah, this is a pain in the butt to micro. He used all his missiles on like one unit. Right there. Yeah, because it's just not added to the F3 menu. If it was added to the F3 menu, then it would have been fine. Maybe we can get Tia to add it onto the F3 menu next time. Oh no. Okay, there's no missiles on him. But you can see the Nova Hero is like, he's getting set up to just like two-shot that Muto wave. He's gonna clump them all up on one side and then just go. So this character needs to be very careful. Okay, he used missiles. He can blink on top. Honestly, he should be using blink to dodge the stun grenade. Because he almost lost there because he got stunned. When you're fighting Tychus as Han Horner and you're going like a Mass Wraith build to exploit the weaknesses, it's just like playing a game of pigeon. You just gotta make sure that you hit your blink to dodge that grenade. If you don't, then you lose the game. I like how he's microing these Reapers though to eat up these like the serious missiles. Like I was saying earlier. Yeah, I don't know. You just gotta do it. As you can see, he never. It's always a risk going tier 3 Stukov because that's when the part of the game where it's like, if I go tier 3 now, are they gonna just doom push us and then we're gonna lose the game? Because Nova's units are so fucking beefy, so stacky, that if you get damage spread on each one of them, and then they just get healed up by the Ravens, it's basically like you didn't even do any damage at all. And you really need to like optimize your damage versus her, or else she's gonna just do you in. So he probably could have took the risk earlier on to go tier 3 and went APOC and just destroyed all of the Nova Goliaths and forced Nova out of the Goliath build. That would be because the Goliath build does well versus Han Horner, and it does better than his other options versus Midas, so it would also force him out of Ravens, so yeah. Oh no. Yeah. That's the risk of running strike fighters and versus Tychus. If your ally doesn't clear the leaks, then you kinda get messed up. But it looks like they're stacking because of the infrastructure again. This is just one way that Han Horner can overcome this hard matchup. Is just having that infrastructure mess with the Tychus. And now he has drone. Yeah, it's never a good sign if Nova gets a tier 3 before you. Unfortunately, it's just not. Is he producing Hellions? Hellions are pretty good. Pretty good here. I have no complaints. Yeah, Kerrigan just wiped out all the metas with the stun. That's why I'm saying the build is so fickle. Like, getting all those metas, it's like a very high risk, decent reward build. Yeah, you can dodge those like serious missiles with the strike fighter explosion damage or explosion animation. If you get the right like angle. Yeah, and these turrets do AoE. That's 30 damage. It almost like one-shots a infested marine. Yeah, this game is suffering because they prolonged it too much and they didn't go for their late game build. They just had to go for a timing and they didn't hit that timing. So now the enemies are taking advantage of that. They got their tiers up. They got all their globals unlocked. Yeah, so good luck bottom team. Even like a shotgun Nova into the Hanhorner wave. You'd never want to see that when you're versus Tychus. Never ever want to see that. That's just rough. I love the Hellion deploys. It lowers the range of the Tychus units. It gets free damage off. But man, this is just rough. Shotgun Nova just one-shotting the whole line of the Marines. Yeah, and the AoE goes on to the mutas, and then the Kerrigan wave just kills the rest of it pretty easily. Didn't even need to use stun there. And there's still a shotgun hero that's gonna one-shot these Hellions. Yeah. This is just ugh. I'd hate to be in the Hanhorners. And they drone him for BM. They're like, I don't think Tychus is winning hard enough. I'm gonna drone him to win even harder. Like, it's straight up. I don't hate the Infested Liberator here. The only problem is that, like, if he did it early game, it would be sniped and it would be so devastating because it's 250 minerals just gone. But yeah. By the way, I don't like this play. I don't like this play in the direct matchup, but it's good into the Hanhorner he's leaking into. In the direct matchup, this isn't really good because oftentimes you want to either commit to ground or to air. It's just because the game plan is just so different. How can I say this? When you're going a ground build, you want the Kerrigan to tank all the aggro. So if you're going air on top of going the ground build, your Kerrigan is not taking all the aggro. What's taking all the aggro is all these mutas. So it's not nullifying any sort of muta balance or anything like that. So yeah. But looking into Hanhorner, it's fine. Maybe less so because of the mag mines, but whatever. You can't please everyone. Han and Horner's having a bad time. The amount of damage these Hellbats soak up versus Stukov is just insane. Combine that with the Raven heal, it's just disgusting. Oh god, the Raven micro. Yeah, it's Jover. There's just no way. I wanted to keep some hopes up for the bottom team, but goddamn, it's oof, it's too rough, man. Yeah, these cannonballs are tanking forever too. He opted for tanks. I mean, I could see it, but in these little amounts of numbers, probably not. Oh, he waved after the missiles got casted, so the missiles just blew up the the mutas. Yeah. Goliath is a broken unit. Sometimes you don't need the flashy units to be broken. Sometimes you just need stats. I do wonder though. No armor upgrades. You guys realize how much damage these Hydras do? And the meta bounces? And you got no armor upgrades. Lovely. Yeah, I don't care about his because he's versus Tychus, it doesn't matter anyways. He got armor on the bunkers but not on anything else. I guess it doesn't matter versus Goliath though. When he's versus Goliath and Ravens. I would have probably liked to see more weapons upgrades for the actual like, vehicles, because this is what does the most damage versus the Hellbats. Also, the reason why I said this is not a bad idea, because sometimes you can just cheese out a win with infest structure and just get a bunch of tanks to shoot down that midline, and they won't kill the banshees in time sometimes. But it's a cheesy move. At the end of the day, if you want a more solid game plan, you would go Apox instead of these. And he already invested a lot into Banshee, so like he could have went Apox at some point in time. I know he was scared of like the enemies just ending the game outright, but the longer you wait, the worse it's gonna be. Like these units aren't doing anything. Anyways, GG.